Hey, we're back. It's time to go over Fabi as white and Magnus as black. But we probably should do some tactics until some players come along. I want you guys to see it, so we'll just do some tactics until then. Hmm. Huh. Let's see here. If the knight's gone, the bishop hangs. So you have to take in consideration that. Let's see, rook d8 check, rook takes d8, queen takes d8, bishop takes d8. That's really the best I see. No? Is it? Let's see here. If knight takes knight, bishop takes knight. So I'm looking at two. If we can somehow get the king, we could fork these two pieces. But how? Oh, how can that be achieved? Excuse me. It's a kind of subtle move you have to find there. Hey. Alright, we'll do this, and then we'll go over Fabi versus Magnus's game. We'll finish this tactic out. But that was a close one. Today. I was really concerned for my boy Fabi. But you know what? The Lord was with him today, and so he found the best moves. It's going to be interesting tomorrow, though, because Fabi's got black, so I'm wondering if he's going to do his famous Petrov defense that he beat Alexander, or they call him Sasha. I'll call him Sasha. I don't know how to pronounce his Russian name. Well, Alexander Sasha. With in the candidates tournament. Hopefully he uses that. But I'm sure if he does that, Magnus will probably be prepared for that. So maybe switching up to something different might be a better idea. Yeah. That was pretty, I gotta say, interesting. I agree with you on that. It was like, whoa. This is an interesting puzzle as well, because trying to figure out there's so many different ideas here. There's the queen is really close to being trapped here. So I'm wondering if there's a way to trap the queen. I'm wanting to go f4, but I don't really see what f4 does. It allows potentially him to decoy our queen to d2 and then take the pawn, and then I don't know. This is a pretty interesting setup, to say the least, for us. Let's see. There's also the Winter Open or Winter Classic going on with Jeffrey Jang. Or I hope I'm pronouncing that. I'll just call him Jeffrey. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name right, so I'll just call him Jeffrey. Jeffrey is really close to the 2700 club, so I hope he starts winning. He's so close to the 2700 club. Very talented young man in chess, and I hope that he continues to thrive in chess, because the United States needs some really good chess players. C6. Interesting. Wait. Oh, try. I wish I could play Queen C3, Queen C3 to Queen H8 is actually mate. If we can get to C3 and then, oh no, that's not mate. He can intercept with his bishop. Ah, snap. Snap, snap, snap. I forgot bishop h7 is playable there. That would not be fun. Well, maybe we could actually mate him there. We would have to go from h8 after he blocks to queen to f6. When he blocks there, potentially we can check here, and when he goes up, we can play bishop check. The king would have to come here, and we can set up for a type of checkmate. I don't know if it would be 100%. So I'm not sure if that's actually playable. Drat, this is we're missing something. This has to be simpler than what we're making it. Has to be. Maybe f4, f4, d7, d2, f takes, g5 check, king takes d5, sorry, not g5, g5, queen e3 maybe, queen e3 check. We can't really avoid not getting a check, so I'm thinking that it's potentially queen c3, threatening h8. That's really the only move I can see that, and I might be wrong. Oh. Wow. Yeah. Oh man. Wow, right there. There. We had the right idea, just wrong spot. We'll get one correct first, and then I want to get this one correct. Then we'll do the Magnus Fabi one. I was thinking that rook takes knight, rook takes, king takes, but we don't really have anything after that. Let me see. That was one line, but let's check our checks first. So queen a8 check. Queen b2. Yeah, you were right about the g. Queen b8. No, I mean knight b8. What's the drawback to that move? There potentially is rook takes c6, queen takes c6, check, knight, but I really don't see anything after the knight intercepts. We're down a whole rook, and there's nothing that we could actually apply here there. So rook takes. Let me try this. I'm thinking that potentially rook takes d7 if rook takes d7, queen a8 check, queen b8, queen takes b8 check, king takes b8, and then rook takes d7. So let's see if we got this. Oh, drat, I did it wrong order. Oh no. Drat, it's this here, and once you take the queen, you pick up. We gotta do one more. That was my fault. I moved the wrong piece. Yeah, that was my fault there. I gotta tell you, yikes. I was one move too far ahead. I got to after I write it in, I have to reconfigure it on the board. Sometimes I do that. I think that a move's been played, and that happens. So we'll fix it this time. We won't let that happen this time. We'll give it one more, and we won't let it happen this time. Let's see here. Okay, knight f3 to g5. Okay, he's attacking our bishop. He's moved a defender away from his king, so we have to kind of take a look now at king ideas. I mean, king attack ideas. We're also the f2 pawn is potentially under fire. We have a knight that's kind of also awkwardly placed that could be attacked if we had to. Let's see here. If we let's see if we take pawn takes e4. I mean f takes e4. Knight takes e6. So we don't really get anything really after that. But do we double attack the pawn and the bishop? See if we take here. Well, he'll take back at that point with his knight. I was hoping if we take, you take here, here, and then we can get a kind of tempo idea attack here with a fork, but he can actually take back at that point. I was somehow trying to maybe make knight work, but then he can actually take with knight takes d3, bishop takes d3, and we don't really have anything at that point. Yeah. Trying to see what potentially did he lose protection of. That does put a tickle in his belt, doesn't it? That tickles him. Then if he plays c takes b5, we have knight takes a2, check. Interesting. Oh, sorry about that. Gotta put that a little lower so I don't bump it. There we go. Yeah, I like it. Oh. We'll do a madness and then we'll get back to that. Wow. Now it's right there. Okay. Yeah. You were right though. That was correct. Yeah, I didn't. That picks up a piece. Yep. Well, let's try it. We gotta do one more because it'll be in the back of my mind if we don't. Because I know. Let's do this. Don't rush. Just see. Because you just gotta think tactically. Sometimes I think way too hard about such a straightforward problem. Okay, let's take a look. Queen h5 looks pretty tempting. And let's go with it. Oh. Oh. So pull it. Check. Come on. Sometimes you get into a click. I don't want to get into a click of losing. We gotta not let that happen. Had the right idea, but wrong rook move. Come on. Gotta get this. Gotta get it in my head. Yeah. 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 Yeah, I did rush. I'm not going to do that. Okay, I won't rush. Okay, let's just not rush, don't rush. Sometimes I have to tell myself that because I see a good idea and then I sometimes rush, and I don't want to do that. Because in a over the board game, you do not want to make a hasty decision. That's what Fabi and he had a idea between, I think it was B2, no, B3 or C3. B3 would have lost him the game. C3 is King C3 is what actually drew the game. King B2 would have, or B3 would have lost. King C2 won. It's not C2, C3. Sorry, not one, but I guess a draw and a temporary losing position is a win. So my teacher told me. Okay. Let's see, rook BC8. King A1. Yep. And Fabi didn't rush, and he thought about the move and he found the correct move. Otherwise, he would have lost the game. So. Oh yeah. Well, I didn't check that. I just watched the game, and sometimes when they're talking, I go to chess 24 and the tournament one, and it shows the moves, and so I go over it while I'm listening to Yaz or Jennifer and Maurice. All right. See, it was there. We just had to see it. Okay. Feel better. See, that's what I need to work on, and you guys really helped me with that. Doing we'll call it the Fabi, which is being calm and not moving fast, because there's no reason to. So what? It takes you 10 minutes. You get it right, and you don't lose points. You may get 1 point, but you don't lose points. And don't that's one thing that I think it was Fox said a couple days ago. Fox said that we're not going for points, we're going for correct patterns so that it gets in your brain, and I agree with him on that. Yeah, this is becoming a slight weakness here. Fabi's development is almost complete. All he's got to do now is play queen d2, castle queenside, and see if Magnus castles here. Fabi can come up, and then let's say that I'm just going to make a move that we'll just put here so that he can move his knight. This right here is really a strong move at this point, because you're going to get rid of Magnus's strong bishop, and there'll be weaknesses like takes. These squares along here will be weak, and that knight g5 would almost be winning in that line. So e5 was played. Castle queenside. I'm not sure. I don't know. I might have played up here, but let's see why that's not right, because I'm always willing to learn. Let's see. Why is queen d2 wrong? Or what is the inaccurate move in it? And then bishop there. If castles, you could actually play bishop takes, king takes, and oh, interesting. Castles at this point is a good idea. And now we're going to want to try to lock our it's going to try to go for a pretty good kingside advantage, and this locks down. And we have two knights, so we're going to want to keep the position closed. If he plays here, you take there, and then you lock everything down. And this guard's here, and the knights can start flowing in. Well, of course, you guys, I'm going to turn off the engine now, because a lot of this becomes very distracting. Okay. Of course, you guys see what this move's for. When he plays here, he wants to destroy the center before Magnus can castle. He wants to break the position open. I know this sounds kind of interesting, but I would have been tempting to have played Alfred, but this might have allowed Magnus to play a5 here, and I believe that potentially his queenside is rock solid, and Magnus could now start playing h5 and start going for the big clobber on the king side. So I think that, so what you'd have to do at this point, and then if he takes here, you'd have to try to see if you couldn't push onward. That loses to that, so. Oh, yeah. That would help. Yeah, the queen's hanging here with the bishop. So we can't do that. I was just trying to see if there was any way to break through. I don't think so. Yeah, this is the knight that becomes a headache for Fabi in the endgame, the knight on h5. Remember, every move has a drawback to this here. What my idea was I was looking at potentially knight g6 or g7 and trying somehow to get my knight into f5. Let's see what potentially would be a good. Oops. Oh, ouch. Oops, we don't want to turn that on. See, 2, 4, 6. That's a kind of odd thing, yeah. They were talking about an exchange sack here with the bishop and potentially with check. And would he be able to hold or potentially come here? That's when I'll have to move the king. We don't want to go into a pin. Potential exchange sack for a pass pawn. But I don't know if that was good enough. Yeah, this does make practical sense if you want to think about it, because you're shutting this down, and if he plays there, you just take, so he can't play there. What could he play? Well, rook takes, huh? Then you take back. And maybe rook slides over. Is that kind of the idea? King H. Queen, King B7. Well, the chance of any attack now is almost gone. Surprisingly, this king, once it gets to a6, is pretty safe for the most part, because even if the queen slid over and somehow the rook moved or something, he can always play b5, his king is adequately protected. So this move here is a really, I give it almost an exclam idea. This right here, this move, wow, that is an exclam in my opinion, because you're running away so that you can attack. Wow, it's pretty impressive. Oh yeah, this is the mistake, right? This move here. This move on e2, king e2 was a mistake. They're saying this would have actually been a better idea. E7 or e5, and what you would do is you would go into a down a pawn, but you would at least somewhat hold on here. And this also was the move that was, yeah. The idea for this move here, we'll go, this was actually another mistake. This was the idea and infiltrating into b2, which wins the entire house at that point. What happened was he played h5, which was the first inaccurate idea. Then he played rook f2, kind of with this, the same idea here they said would have actually worked again. Because even if he plays here, the queen would infiltrate in, and this a pawn would fall. Now king g1, which was the next error. And the idea potentially would be, they're wondering if maybe queen c c1 would have been a better idea, but he sealed that up. And now the move that everybody was saying would have been played was actually rook g3. And what's the good move idea here? I'm not sure, because your queen's trapped. You'd have to take here, and then after check, maybe not check. What was that idea? I'm trying to remember here. Give me a sec. Hold on, let me see. I kind of forgot. I apologize, guys. I know there was an idea. Let me see. What? No, okay. Oh, he can't play there. Oh yeah, that's right. That, yeah, this, that, not that move. I'm sorry. This was the move they were talking about that would have still won the house. Sorry. Forgot about it. Yeah, it was kind of a funny move. Yes, he missed two moves, but this move here and back is actually the move that again would have won the entire kingdom. This move here. And even if he plays there, you have queen b2, and again the weak a pawn potentially will fall. But I think it's holdable. I'd probably say at this point bishop And then maybe we could start invading on the weak squares. Or dark squares. Weak squares, that's funny. Yeah, this was the next mistake. The idea, though, it was actually a good end game. They were saying is potentially getting a rook here and exchanging, even if you're exchanging a rook for a knight. Having this type of setup here is huge, because you're even if these pieces got traded off, sorry, and you were left with these pieces got traded off, and you were left with a bishop and a rook, and you had a black pawn here. You still is a very strong game for black. King d2, and this move surprisingly saves the game. c3, potentially I believe e5 wins a pawn. See, and then now a pawn is being won. And he had to go into an endgame down one pawn, but this taking here wasn't worth losing the f4 pawn. The f4 pawn was kind of like the barricade in a of a port, or I'm not sure what the name of that is, but it's when you're all the navy stops anything from coming in. It's probably, it may be a barricade for all you know what I mean. But so it's a blockade. Sorry, blockade. Barricade's different. That would work too, but a blockade is what I meant. And this pawn was huge for cramping white, causing a little bit of a headache. This pawn, Yasser, Jennifer, and Maurice talked about, was not worth this right here, because what this actually did was it freed up Fabi's pawn on e4 to start going up the board. And at this point, surprisingly, they were talking about Fabi potentially winning here. Even though Magnus is up a pawn, his pawns aren't positioned like this. They said if Magnus would have had pawns like this, the circles, then it would have been a draw. But because the pawns were in this formation here, there's a potential for a Fabi to have it was a three-way technique after this take. Surprisingly, the bishop takes c3 was a mistake, and the computer wouldn't find anything wrong with it, but it's a plain out mistake, because what you did is you let a passed pawn be formed for your enemy or the other side, and you don't want to give your opponent any counterplay. This gave Fabi a chance to potentially have like I said, a three-way. It's a loss, draw, or win. Before, when there was a lot of threats that Magnus had, it was a two-way, either a loss or a draw for Fabi. But because the f pawn got traded off, it added another scenario where Magnus could actually lose in this position. But because Magnus is such a strong player, and Fabi is too, they both equaled each other out, and it ended up a draw in this scenario. But I think if any other player but Magnus hadn't have been playing this sitch with this like this, I think Fabi could have really, in my opinion, beat anybody. Yeah, I remember listening to Gary too. It was funny the time that Gary was on talking to Yasser, Jennifer, and Maurice. Fabi made three, not Fabi, Magnus made three back-to-back. They're not howlers because howlers would have lost, but slowly the advantage drifted. He made three moves that all of his advantage drifted, and Gary even saw some of those moves. And so anybody that says that Gary isn't still a world champion should listen to that. He spotted exactly what to play right off the bat. He knew exactly what to play. Queen to e3 when the king. It was like this. When the kings were like this. Let me see. I think the king was here. Queen and rook. King was here. In this scenario, he spotted queen to e5 right away. So, and then he was like shocked with, what's this move down the g1? And then if he wants to get any advantage, he even talked about the computer's analysis of queen g7 rather than h4. When the pawn was here, the queen was here, and the king was, I believe, right here. He talked about how this queen should have moved up here, that it can infiltrate in to b2, and that Gary spotted that, and then he's like, "What's going on?" He said, "What's going on?" Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Sharp Diamond, loving it. But that's the one thing that humans have that computers don't have is nerves. And so there's always the first game. They were also talking about how surprisingly, even if Magnus would have won, I'm not diminishing the win or anything. If there was a win, the people, I don't know. Sorry, Fabi would have won. That's right. got it mixed up again. If Fabi would have won, there was like a couple championships, world championships, that even though the competitor won the first game, they ended up losing the entire tournament. It happened. They were talking about, I forgot which. There was a two or three. One of them was with Gary and Anon. Anon won the first round in the World Championship when he challenged Gary in one of the challenging matches that they went up against. And he won the first round, but Gary ended up holding his title. So that was cool. So it's that's what they were saying, is that it's almost like the dreaded if you win you might lose lose the chance to be the world champion. So they're like that was the big. They all started laughing. That was a big joke. I thought it was kind of cute because yeah, you'd think, oh, I won. Yeah, but the players that actually started out like that, the greats, ended up didn't win at the very end. Even though they started out with a pretty good right uppercut, they weren't able to finish off with a right, left, upper, and then hook. They didn't knock out the competitor. They did stun him, but they didn't finish him. Okay, this is now very critical. This allows, they were talking about, because this pawn on f4 is gone, now this knight that was, yeah, round, it was. And that's what we were actually talking about here, is that how even if Fabi would have won, there they said that I was telling Loki that a lot of candidates that went for the world championship won their first game but weren't able to hold it throughout the rest of the game. well, now, and we'll get back to the play now. The knight that was really, they called, there was like, they said a word about this knight, but I forgot it. I'll just say ugly knight. I just call it an ugly knight to be nice. This knight that was really badly placed and not the best, now has a en route to g4, which is like, yes, this knight is dancing, with happiness and joy, that now it could come to g4 and start its onslaught. And it has life now. This knight that was once dead is now alive, and this gave Fabi a chance. Before, the three missed tactical wins basically for Magnus, it was a two-way result, a draw or a loss. But when this pawn got traded off for that pawn, it went to a three-way, and that's really scary when you're winning and all of a sudden you make a couple inaccurate moves, and now it's a three-way chance. You don't ever want to give such a strong player as Fabi a three-way opportunity, because trust me, Fabi and Magnus, they will go for the KO. But they're both equally matched players, so it's going to be a pretty heated World Championship. No, there was no first blood, so we'll get to see tomorrow if Fabi gets black. So we'll see how he does. I don't know if he's going to go for his famous, that is true. But it was kind of scary there for the first like four moves in this one combination. I didn't think was going to turn out pretty well for our boy Fabi. But by the Lord's grace and mercy, he was able to navigate his way through. So queen takes, and now that the queens get traded off, the chance of a win has dwindled down now, and there's really no, there's really no sorry, I felt like I had to sneeze there. Ugh, I hate when that, and then I didn't sneeze. Ugh, that's even worse. Because I'd hate to be in mid-sentence and then sneeze. That'd be like very not good. Ugh. But, ugh. Okay, I'm better now. But yeah, this rook is outstanding. A great piece, yeah. Okay, bye-bye. Be blessed. And I hope you keep watching Fabi and Magnus. I'll bring the games each day, and we'll go over them, okay? Okay, so be blessed, Loki. Lord be with you. So rook g3. I'll try to remember what the Grandmasters Maurice, Jennifer, and Yaz are saying, and I'll try to kind of put it in my own words to tell you guys, but they do it the best. Okay, rook takes h, and now starts the pawn, and the pawn march. Now this is, at this point, e7, they were talking that potentially knight to h6 would have actually been a better move. And then he could play knight e7 here. When the rook goes, then you have knight to f5. But now you have to worry about this pawn right here. And eventually, what eventually is going to have to happen is that's going to come off, and that's going to come off, and it'll go down to 2 rooks endgame. I want to see after rook, I want to see what the best move is and see if Fabi actually did the computer analysis move. Oh, interesting. I think that was a little risky in my opinion, but I just wanted to see. Now, 1 pawn dominates 2. This is a critical endgame. Jeremy Silman calls it the deep freeze, which means it freezes the pawns. And now the in this scenario, it's going to be a tough, because Magnus is going to try to, he grinds his opponents down into like powder in his play. So he doesn't let, even if it's a draw, he doesn't let the pedal off of the, he doesn't let the gas off of the car. He just keeps that pedal going, just going fast. So especially when you know you are winning, and you can't accept that it's a draw. It's like, it's that type of an emotion thing that you're like, I gotta win. Well, he did it against Nakamura, and I think it was the when they were at Singfield, and it was the one before they go to the London Classic, London Tour, the end of it. Magnus was able to get into a similar position, yeah. Nice. I want to get to the, this is all about Jocelyn for position here. There's this one position that I wanted to get you guys to. Right here. I'm going to give you guys a choice. Which move would you play? Think about it, human-like. I know you guys already probably watched the World Championship. So King B3 or King C3, and try to answer why each one's good and why each one isn't. Just try, why do you think King B3 is bad, and why do you think King C3 is good? What's the pros and cons? And I'll be right back. Well, the whole idea uh, is based on this here. Hold on, I'm sorry. This right here. I had it out of order. All right, I'm thinking, was it king here, and then there? I'm thinking that might be the idea. And after it takes, he grabs here. And then he's got these two connectors, and he wins. C3 stops this here because, or sorry, C3. 1 second. Here, because then you don't have to worry about anything like that. You can move it along here, even if there. This doesn't hurt you at all, because I believe you can check at this point. Then if he goes up, you have here, and now you can push. That's right. It all goes back to that. Okay. So what did you, hey Fox, what did you think about the first game in the World Championship? And if he plays here, you can actually just bring your rook down. Or the computer analysis was check, and then you could actually slip in, I think, right here. I'm not sure. I forgot how the computer analysis went, but it was something like this actually right here is drawn. Actually, this is drawn. Sorry. And if he comes up, I'm thinking you just move your rook here. I'm trying to remember. Yeah. Okay. Be blessed, and the Lord be with you. Play the grub. Now the threat is here. They said that this push, though, kind of had the check idea going. And then he comes back. Surprisingly, hold on. 1 second. clock went off, so I had to go turn it off. Somehow a clock went off. That's fine. You just take care of it. Come back. Gotta love this though. It's like, and they agreed to a draw. Okay, we'll take a look at Leila's line. I believe. Hold on. I promised Play the Grub I'd go over his game, and then we'll go over the Leela game. And we will go over it. I will be right back. I turned off that clock, but it must have went back on. Just hold on. Okay. Okay. There we go. Back in the fray again. Let's see. Trying to think what we could actually play here. Queen's attacked. Yeah. That's true. With a potential idea of en routing here, but yeah. That happens. It happens to the best of us. So you have a Leela game, or analyzing of the Leela game, or one thing you said. Let's get it. Let's get some points put back on the board. Oh, so on move. We'll have to take a look at that then. I'll put it in and we'll take a look to see. What do you think? King f5? I realized that, and I'm glad I didn't play it. move too fast there. Don't move too fast. Yeah. Come on, stay on task. Let's see. Pawn push. Queen takes. Can't believe I missed that. I got her. Arg. Come on, we can do this. We can do this, we can do this, we can really, really do this. Title? Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know how that feels. We'll get it. Don't. Hey, you know what? Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll show you. The problem with and we'll go over the moves. Sometimes I get in the zone a little bit. Okay. The idea, guys, in this chess crunchers is this. Now I'm thinking potentially e6. This is my idea. E6, and if he plays f takes e6, we're gonna play rook takes f8, check, queen takes f8, and rook takes f8, check, king takes f8. The knight's trapped. It's okay, don't worry. So queen d8 check, bishop f8. No, that's not gonna work. But we do we pick up a, yeah, we do pick up a, no we don't, because it's double attacked with the bishop and rook. Wow, we have two pieces hanging there. What are we missing here? Oh, we can pick up, well, if we check, bishop intercepts, and then we take the queen with a knight. Interesting. Yeah. Oh, no? What did we miss? Oh, we take the, gotcha, so that's hanging. So the knight has to move, and there's really no good place except for here. And then when it does, we can play bishop takes, knight on d4, pawn takes, the queen takes. And then we're holding. Wow. It's okay. It's okay, don't worry. So long as you have to figure out why if the moves aren't right. What is the right move sequence? Okay. Queen h1 check, king e2, queen f3 check, king d2. Let me see what else could potentially be. Maybe queen d3 check, king c1. Well, we could bring the rook over at that point, couldn't we? Yeah, let's rewrite that in. Rewrite that in. Instead of the queen coming to d3, rook d7 check, and I believe that sets up a unstoppable mate. Oh, rook's pin. That would help. That'd be illegal, but oh boy. Okay, so back to the drawing board. So let's see. Here, there, 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 there. Queen g4. Do we have any good follow-ups though? Nice find there. Nice job. Nice, nice. It's a bishop e7, which attacks the rook and the bishop at the same time. That was simple. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Stayed. Now we gotta hunker down. Yeah. We just gotta hold together. Come on, don't blow this. Come on. Let's see. Don't rush. Breathe. So queen g5 threatens queen. But what if he takes? If queen g5, what if rook takes h2 though? is there anything different though? I see what you're saying. I'm just looking. Is there anything simpler though? Ah, you just solved it. Knight h5 right now. That threatens to win. Oh, I get it, because he has to take it. Okay, I missed that. That was my fault. Yeah. Yeah, that was my fault. That was my fault at the end. Yeah, he has to take. Let's just keep it cool. Let's get to 2,000. We'll get a above 2,000. We will do that. We just have to not rush. That I fall guilty to that. Okay. This is a line that I'm looking at. Bishop takes c3. Bishop takes c3. And then knight e4. Not e3, sorry. Knight e4. I don't know why I put e3 in there. With a fork. Let's see. Bishop takes, knight, and we fork the two pieces. Okay, we got that one. That one's under our belt now. Okay, this is a potential idea. Knight f6 check, which undiscovers an attack on the rook. Okay. Queen takes f5, rook takes f5, and then rook takes e8, king takes f6. So close. I have to look at the takes, and that's that's fixable. Come on, just 11 away. We can do this. We could do this. Just stay focused. Ooh, I got it. Yeah. All right, one more away. 1 point away. 1 point away. Bishop e2, which threatens bishop e2 threatens g5 mate. Bishop e2 threatens g5 mate. But let's make sure that he can't get out. Okay, bishop e2, g6. Oh, we would take at that point. Be mate, yeah. Okay, we'll stop here. Yes, good job. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh man. Yes. Oh boy. I was worried there for a second. I was like, I can't believe it. We had our right combinations, just couldn't KO him. Okay. Do you guys got any questions? You got any questions? I'll give you a minute. Okay. I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm excited for tomorrow. Another game. Yes, another game to go over. Yeah. I gotta tell you, I was worried there for a little bit, but guess what? I knew through the Lord and through teamwork, guys, we could do it. That's the whole thing we have to remember is that you know what? Together we're unbeatable. You know, what I mean that's the cool thing is when you work together in a group, you're better than the whole of your parts. One person, uh, if you work with a couple, then they can show you where maybe you made a mistake and then you can learn from it. So that's cool. I'm glad you guys participate. Thank you. And I'm glad you all log on to, watch. And we're going to, I'm going to do my best to narrate all of the games that Fabi and Magnus play. And if you guys got any comments on that during the time that I'm talking, put in there. We'll go over it and we'll continue to keep learning. Okay, like knowing is not enough, we must apply. Willing is not enough, we must do. There are no limits, guys. The limits are what we set. There are plateaus though, and we must go beyond those plateaus, because you know what, that's the only way you're going to improve. Like I gotta tell you, when we're going up and down like that, we're learning and we're improving. It kind of doesn't look like that, because you're going, wait a second, you're up here, then you're down there, then you're up, then you're down. It's not, but during that time of great trial, that's when the Lord teaches you, and we get to learn patience, calmness, and not moving too fast. And I am really going to work on that, guys. I appreciate your patience with that, because you know what? It's something that I don't want to bring into an over the board game. I want to be kind of like, the Lord kind of showed me Fabi as how patient he was in that move. He could have went B3 or C3. B3 would have lost the game. C3 was the best move. He had to take some time to think about that. He could have been impulsive and just moved it and lost the game. They've been playing for over 6 hours. Over 6 hours, I got to emphasize that. And he still kept the cool, patient mind. And you know what? We have to discipline ourselves to do that. You know what? Forget the time. It doesn't matter the time. If it takes you 20 minutes or 30 minutes to solve one, solve it. And that's one thing that I have to build part of me too, until I, get over that moving fast. I'm gonna stay at a certain level, because the levels teach you patience. The higher the levels, the more complicated it gets. And don't just dismiss what I'm learning. Is don't dismiss an idea because you think it's bad. Work it all the way through. Because I saw a couple ideas, but I dismissed it before I worked it out 2 to 3 more moves, and it was correct. So that's one thing I wanted to tell you guys. If you guys think that in an over the board game that potentially a line might work, but you go, oh, it's not going to work, don't dismiss it. Just take it 1 or 2 or 3 more moves further and see if that line isn't the winning line. That's just some advice from your friend Chess Cruncher team. You know what I mean? So take that to heart. Trust me. You don't want to lose any games. Well, guys, I wanted to say, remember what we do. We hang up our coat, we hang up our hat, and we sit down and study when most won't. We do, and that makes all the difference. Well, remember, guys, tomorrow we get to watch again Magnus versus Fabi, because it's going to be white versus black. Magnus is going to be white, Fabi's going to be black. Okay, we'll leave you with that. As Wesley so says, for the Lord Jesus, and as I say, God bless. And I'll see you guys next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, evening, and Lord willing, I'll be back on tomorrow. We'll do some more studies, get better, and be patient. So I think that should be our motto: patience as we go, our patience as we move. And you know what? We did great today. We're past 2,000 again. Yes, go to Chess Cruncher. Hoorah! Yeah, I'm really happy about that. I know you guys are too, and we're gonna keep pushing forward and getting better. Okay, be blessed, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. 2 thumbs up. Great job.